from the New York Post, right? Yeah, from the New York Post. Olympian Ellen Gu's decision to snub U.S. and ski for China is nothing short of a hypocrisy, and I agree. Yeah. The champion, it's easy being Eileen Gu?
Eileen, I think.
Eileen Gu. The champion freestyle skiers.
She's half white.
Guys, we could fix her. We could fix her.
She's happy.
The champion freestyle skier said the other day after she had to settle for a silver medal in an event at the Olympics that sometimes it feels like I'm carrying the weight of two countries on my shoulders.
Deport her.
Gu would be carrying the weight of only one country if she had chosen to represent her native USA at the Games rather than a hostile totalitarian state. Gu skis for China, a choice that is a little like deciding to represent a fascist country during the 1930s. China is bent on undermining U.S. power and supplanting Western values. It runs a gulag and has established a surveillance state that would make George Orwell blush.
I think she did this in the last Olympic as well, where she defected.
Yeah, she did.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if that's the right word.
I'd give her my goo.
Did you say defected?
She shouldn't be
the
let
only
back in.
thing on his mind.
Sorry.
I think she's a dual citizen, but I don't know if China allows dual citizens though. I'd need to look into it.
Yeah, so from what I know is that she is suspected to have dual citizenship. I looked this up because this was obviously a huge point of controversy this week, especially among Asian Americans. But it's suspected that she has dual citizenship, but China doesn't allow for dual citizenship. So she hasn't publicly ever stated what her citizenship status is, but we can suspect that she is a dual citizen.
And I believe her mother is a Chinese woman and her father was an American.
Opposite, I think.
Oh.
Because her last name's Gu. Gu's not a white name.
Oh, fact check, true.
Right. But just the fact that she has openly stated in her statements, but also in her conduct at the Olympics by representing China, that her primary allegiance lies with China.
Yeah.
Right.
Therefore,
that is wild.
Yeah, and regardless of what you think about China, right? Regardless of what you think about China, her primary allegiance is to China. That is a foreign state.
Right.
There is no reason for her to keep her American citizenship. Yeah. There's no reason why America should acknowledge her American citizenship because she has abandoned it. So it's like regardless of what you think about China, regardless of what you think about her politics, the reality is she abandoned her citizenship.
Yeah.
She is more aligned with and more loyal to China over America, so she shouldn't be an American citizen.
This is a point that I make a lot, and I wonder if it actually does have some kind of context with this particular story. If you're a Chinese citizen or have family in China and you're in the United States, you're essentially a national security threat because China has no compunction with applying pressure to your family in China to get you to do something. So I don't know for sure if, I don't know that she does have that. This is the situation, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit if the reason that she's skiing for China is because someone in China is like, you're going to ski for us or else we're going to throw your parents or your grandparents or your sister or what have you in jail if you don't. And that's, like I said, I make this point a lot. If you're a Chinese national here and you have family in China, you are a security threat because whether it be getting a job or studying in some college and some kind of, high-tech field or whatever, like China has no problem doing everything they can to get you to engage in espionage on behalf of China.
The implications of that would be huge. As I understand right now, that's North Korea's MO. I haven't heard of as much of it come out for China. This is definitely a bad example of dual loyalty. Mm-hmm. However, I will say I think she's just doing what's best for her career. I think she's just a young, naive woman. One side's Chinese, and she probably has some affinity for it, and the other side's American, and she probably saw opportunity there.
She's probably getting sponsored by PRC.
Oh, yeah, she's probably taking up nice.
You're going to get way more money.
Look, China could use the medal.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Yeah. They don't have a lot of great athletes over there. But I will say this. Right now, we orient our military getting ready for a potential Chinese invasion of Taiwan. If every Chinese national in America becomes this sort of national security risk, I don't know really what that means for them and individual liberties in our country, because I would kind of foresee another Japanese internment camp V2 if that were the case. And that's something that could potentially not be too far off. So something to consider. We also have millions of Chinese Americans, patriotic Chinese Americans. Also, many of the Chinese patriots that exist in our country were exiled for one reason or another from China. So, for example, the people at the Epoch Times, the Falun Gong, as I understand, are some sort of religious minority, among others that have been banned and kicked out from China. But no, it's a major concern, and her lack of patriotism is disgusting. And maybe we just deport her. Don't let her back in.
There's no way she grew up in China, right?
She grew up here. She did.
Yeah, I mean, so
America.
it's just
American
this
accent.
this posturing. It's completely misguided because someone that grew up in China. I tour with Zhao Ying Summers.
Oh yeah.
She's Chinese. She's a U.S. citizen now, but she loves America.
She's stealing jokes for China.
She is not stealing jokes. How dare you, Phil? Your new name is Phildo after that one, dude. That's what we're calling you. No. But yeah, I mean, she loves and she is so grateful for the opportunities here. Because she grew up in China, she experienced that life. She's ridiculous.
This girl,
hot but ridiculous.
It says that
It's not even the best picture of her.
she's believed to have dual citizenship, but you can't in China. It's illegal in China to have dual citizenship. You're either Chinese or you're not.
They get it, dude. Meanwhile, we've got a mayor in New York City who still holds dual citizenship.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
I don't know. If they get it in China, they're doing a pretty shitty job because I would never want my country to be anything like the Chinese society. So
I think she's an
we must be
American
doing something
citizen.
right.
It's ambiguous. Her citizenship
we were
is
talking about.
ambiguous.
Well, I
but-
mean, the thing is, China does what's best for China. So if it's good for China for her to have dual citizenship, then that's what China's.
I need to go do a lot
it's not-
more
it's
research
not-
on Goo, dude. I need to look her up and do a deep dive on this.
This happened the last
Real
Olympics
deep
too.
dive.
That's why we're familiar with her.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine from Utah. I think he's from New York originally, but he literally lives in China and gets paid money to teach Chinese kids how to ski. A lot of the Chinese kids are just gymnasts, and they put skis on their feet and say, okay, now go flip that jump. And he teaches them how to be that person. So like, it's not like they have, natural born skiing talent in China that they have readily available to them. So they have to they have to outsource, unfortunately, to Chinese Americans. I think that's what we're seeing here. And I agree, like, dude, if you're going to choose that, even though you have like a American Californian accent, you're going to choose to be Chinese, like, I mean, it's a pivotal point in history to be doing that. So
here's a question, ethically, for you, Kangmin. If you were going to serve in the Olympics of some sort of your expertise, and in the U.S., you were like 70th ranked, but you were number one in South Korea, and they wanted to primary you, give you all the money, would you go play for South Korea?
That's tough. That's really tough because my situation is I was born in Korea and I was raised here in America, but most of my life I was.
Wait, you're a dual citizen?
No, I'm not. So I was a Korean citizen. But then in college, I gave that up and I became an American citizen.
By choice.
Hell
you
yeah,
gave that
dude!
up.
Renounced his citizenship.
By choice.
That's a real one right there.
So
yeah, you can stay.
it's a little complicated though because as I understand the world a little more and I develop in my political philosophy and my beliefs, my affinity for Korea inevitably grows. Like as a right winger, I believe in heritage. I believe in ancestry. I believe in inheritance. I believe in these things. And so when I think about my ancestry, well, I come from thousands of years in Korea. I can trace my ancestry all the way back to my founder. I actually visited his grave when I was in Korea last month. And it's like, well, this is where I come from. And then so I'm still wrestling through whether or not I'm willing to give that up to fully commit to being an American because I love America and I really do. But I still understand that I'm an immigrant. I'm a guest. And so, people always say, I say things like, oh, foreign nationals or foreigners should not hold political office in your country. And they're like, oh, so you don't think you should be able to? I'm like, yeah. I don't think I should.
I agree.
I was born in a foreign country and I should not be able to hold public office in America.
People try that all the time. Like I don't think that the vote should be universal enfranchisement. I think there should be like real.
Yeah.
Wait, let's rewind this.
No, hold on. And people always say they're like, oh, what you don't think that you should be able? Would you give up your right to vote in a second, in a heartbeat? Because like if it meant that we were going to have a class of citizens that were like actually aware of what the three branches of government do and what their job is, those are going to be the people that were voting, as opposed to like every Tom, Dick, and Harry that thinks that they're going to vote for a king. Then yes, I would absolutely give up my right to vote because I'm one of 150 million people that can vote. Your individual right to vote is not that valuable. So sorry, go ahead, Elaad.
I think there's a lot of cope surrounding foreigners being in elected office in the United States. I mean, I think it's extremely patriotic what you did. You came from a different country, you were born in a different country, and you chose to abandon that citizenship because you embraced American values so deeply. However, at the same time, you think, I don't know, we should reject people like you from holding elected office. I think immigrants like you, people who, chose to assimilate to the degree in which they did, is a good thing and kind of like the American dream. And if you had the opportunity to run for office and the American people chose to elect you, then I think I don't see any issue with it. We live in a democracy where people pick who their representatives would be. And frankly, it's anti-American, as I understand. We only have laws against the president not being an American-born person. But as far as the rest of the elected officials go, Kingman, I think you can be one of them, even though you weren't born in the U.S. of A.
Dude, I've also struggled with this myself because I was born outside the United States and became an American as well. But along with what Elaad is saying, if you become an American, you have to learn a lot more about the country. You have to learn a lot how the system works, who did what when, basic history stuff that you need to know in order to properly represent America as an American, I would say. And I've done all that stuff because I've had to do that. I feel like it made me I have much more affinity for America, and I understand why America does these things and why America works this way. And to be fair, we used to have civics classes, which we taught in this country, and we stopped that stuff. And when we stopped that stuff, we've started to see way more people be like disenfranchised, feeling disillusioned with the country, feeling like, I don't really have anything to do with it. So I think maybe it doesn't necessarily mean like we're more or less American than another person, but it does mean that like we care about this idea, which America is. America is an idea and has always been an idea of other people from other backgrounds coming to bring forth the idea that all men are created equal under God.
Well, I think
that's important.
I get what you're saying, but I just fundamentally reject that America is an idea. America, America's a people, and so
it is a people.
Yeah, so
if America's a people, are you included in it?
Well, I'm an immigrant, and so I think you can assimilate and have people become part of
culture.
Your people.
It's a culture.
But it's like another analogy. I always use Korea because I'm Korean. I come from Korea. But let's say we have Korea, right? And then a Japanese person comes and begins, learns Korean, speaks Korean, and assimilates into Korea. Is that Japanese person Korean? No, absolutely not. But if that Japanese person marries a Korean and then for many generations assimilates and to the extent like they're indistinguishable from other Koreans, they're Korean, right? So there are immigrants who can assimilate and for many generations.
Well, they wouldn't be Korean. It would be the offsprings down the line that you would perceive as being Korean. Wait, so one more thing. So if America isn't an idea and a people, isn't that exclusionary to people like you? Or
that's fine.
Okay.
It's a culture, I think, as well. When I'm saying idea, I mean it's a culture because it's shared beliefs, it's shared like fundamental mores. It is also people's home. People have been born here, people live here. I understand what that means. I know exactly what that means. I'm not trying to besmirch that in any way, but I am here to say like America is important. I even posted on my Twitter yesterday being like, if it means that America becomes the shining city on a hill that it should be as this hope for humanity, I would be like the first on the boat going back. Send me to South Africa, bro. I'm out of here because I believe that America needs to succeed. That's how much I feel.
The world needs it.
It's so important.
The world needs the United States.
The world needs the U.S.
The reason it succeeds
Humanity
is because
needs the US.
we take people like you and put them on the boat. Like, and you too. Like, we need you as an American citizen. We need the best people on earth because we're trying to create the best government on earth. So I think you're fully, maybe an immigrant. I think it's I don't know, you say fully. You're fully American, dude. You probably understand civics better than I do.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's like
Kingman,
my caveat.
you're one of us. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But
what do you mean by us?
Wait, am I part of it? I don't know. I was born here. I wasn't born in any foreign country like you two immigrants were.
No, here's my point on this, where like America is a people. And then so when you start to get away from this idea that America, and like you can say America is an idea, but then you look at the Constitution and who was the Constitution written for? Who was the country built for? It was
Americans.
Their posterity, right? And so it's for Americans and their posterity. So the posterity, the descendants of those who built America. Now, you can have immigrants assimilate, yes, of course, but the reality is people like me, especially those who come from very different cultures, and of course there's a lot of similarities between the West and the East, but you see this a lot with Somalian immigrants and African immigrants and Arab immigrants and all these things where, yes, you're going to have patriots, those who love America and very grateful for America, not only for its economic opportunity, but for what America stands for, its traditions, its customs, its history, its myth, its legends, its values. Yes, but I'm a rarity. I am a rarity. You know how many times I've been called a race traitor on the internet and online? You know how many friends I've lost?
Koreans have been the model minority, however.
No, but the thing is, most Korean Americans don't think the way that I do. And this is where Korean Americans are, even the ones who agree with me, are still a minority among most Korean Americans who, yes, Korean Americans who moved here, yes, they all agree with me. But the children of Korean Americans, the second generation, the third generation, they largely disagree with me. They are very left-wing. Asian Americans, especially Asian American women, are the most liberal demographic in America by far.
Dangerous.
So, yeah. So that's why I say it's like, if me not being able to run for office prevents people like Mazie Hirono from being in office, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't see anything wrong with that, because those who should make the rules and enact legislation and lead the country should be Americans. In the same way, I wouldn't want to see, Indians or Japanese or all these different or white people, God bless all you guys, lead and be in parliament in Korea, in the National Assembly in Korea, be the president of Korea, things like that, right? So, people say I'm a self-hating immigrant. No, like, I love who I am, right? I am Korean, but I am also Korean American because I grew up in America. So I'm an American, but I'm Korean. So I'm still struggling through that identity.
Well, you're ethnically Korean. You're not a citizen of the ROK. You're
right.
an American citizen.
Right. But like
Ethnically
anywhere I go in the world, right? They'll instantly recognize me as Korean first. When I go to Korea, they never speak to me in English first. They speak to me in Korean first. Why? Because I look Korean and I come from Korea.
In
right?
Korea, they view you still as a Korean.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Because it's just, that's who I am, right? So I'm still struggling and I'm still wrestling through this identity crisis that I have. But ultimately, I love America. I love America. I love its Christian foundation, the rich history that America has. I do not apologize for America's history at all. People say disavow this. Yes, there were flaws in every nation's history, but I love America so much. But at the same time, I recognize that I'm an immigrant, I'm a guest, and I want America to be America as much as possible, which is America for its descendants. And that's what I believe.
I don't want you voting, but at the same time, I don't want any of us voting either.
We vote. We don't have an ethnicity in the U.S. That's the difference about this country, like almost every other country on earth, especially the older countries. There's no ethnic thing to go back to. Like,
I do believe that there was an ethnogenesis in America at its founding. I do believe that it was mainly West Africans and white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And that was the ethnogenesis of America, where, yes, like those West Africans and the foundational Black Americans, they call themselves that today, right? But they are Americans. I believe that they are Americans, but there was a distinct ethnogenesis, I believe, in American history when at the foundation of America, it was white Anglo-Saxon Protestants and West Africans. And now, doesn't mean that if you're not of those lineages that you can never become American. No, I don't believe that. Like, some of the greatest Americans in history have been like Italian immigrants and things like that, right? But I think we have to be real. I love the Italians. The Italians are great.
It's funny you bring up Africans, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but I had to go take an extremely long pee break because of pool water.
I noticed.
And while I was in there, I came up with the solution to all of this, guys.
What is it?
This fixes everything. We have to get Kangmin a black wife so that he can then populate, hear me out, so you can populate America with Blasians. Dude.
I think, if anything, we need more Eileen Goos. I don't know if we need more.
Imagine if Eileen Goos.
Tiger Woods?
Yeah, I don't know. Do we need more Tiger Woods?
Well, Tiger Woods is
Heinz
a little
Wards?
different. Nah, you just got to make sure you got the right combo.
Fingers, Mr. Ward.
Yeah, Blasian babies. I'm finding you a black wife. That's what I'm saying.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, black women love me. They love me. I love black women as well. I don't think I'd marry one.
Whoa!
You're
ruining the whole thing.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm ruining the
you know what? If you don't like black women,
joke about that. He can't even joke about dating.
If he doesn't like black women, he cannot wear a quarter turtle like that. Absolutely not.
Where's the correlation?
There's a direct correlation. I think we all know.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.